Alright folks, how's it going? Oh, I haven't even opened, as you can see, I'm a bit later today, 1:30. I travelled from Albania to England yesterday, so I've just been... My first day in the country is always a bit annoying. I've got lots of things to buy. The other issue I'm having is I'm in like a static caravan for 4 weeks, which don't come with Wi-Fi, so I'm using my phone. And it's a pretty dodgy area. It goes in and out, so we might notice some dodginess as I'm browsing the web in this video. Alright, what have we got for you today then? So let's have a look at the performance. I beat all of them except Life Strategy 60, so obviously when things go bad, the 61 tends to do better than the 80, 100 and me, because there's more bonds in there. Obviously not when they go bad because of inflation though, because if you've got high inflation, interest rates go higher and the bonds go lower, which is what happened a year or two ago. Can't remember when it was. But yeah, here it's behaving more normally here, which is why it beat me. Yeah, just the usual stuff. I'm still behind most of my comparators, and I'm heavily behind from 2017. Just all the usual nonsense. Fundsmith did pretty bad. Scottish Mortgage did pretty bad. Anything else? Glaxo did well. I guess it's kind of defensive, isn't it? Same as Pfizer. Well, Pfizer did okay, but well considering the markets were down. Assura, I just feel like it's going to go back to where it was, because this bid has gone away, so why would it trade any higher than it was before that bid came through? So yeah, I think it's a missed opportunity. That morning when I checked my phone when I was out and about and I saw it was 18% up, I should have just sold and then bought back now. But you know, you could say that about every stock, couldn't you? You could pick 2 time points and you could make a fortune from the worst stock ever, like a stock that's gone down 90% and will never recover. You could make a fortune on it if you were clairvoyant, just buying at the right time, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling. That's trading, I guess. I'm drinking right now my first cup of tea in 11 months. I've been out of England for 11 months, and all of these other countries, the tea just doesn't. It's not proper English breakfast tea. So I stick to coffee when I'm away. Alright, that's gone. Yeah, UPS is doing well. I'm 5.71% up on it. And I haven't done any more research. I said when I bought it, it was a bit of an impulsive moment. What I'll do is I'll have a proper look at it and read a bit more and see if I'm happy to keep holding. But I never did any of that. I've just kept holding without doing any more research. That is the level of insight you get here. Yeah, Care Reach seems to be doing okay this week. Anyway, there's the numbers of this week's performance. And and then we'll go to Fundsmith, and obviously this is done badly. It's like 4% down. CrowdStrike, that's a really bad one. I kind of predicted it, didn't I, a couple of weeks ago. Fortinet is another bad one. Not as bad as CrowdStrike though. LVMH, that's just been going down, down, down. And Costco, you can see how high it is up here now in the list. It's up to 7th in the list, so obviously that's just had a good run. Apparently, I heard someone on, was it CNBC? It might have been Joseph Carlson. Someone was saying that this is what tends to happen with Costco. They say that it tends to run really high, and then there's an earnings report which is good, but not not as amazing as the share price warrants, and then it comes back again. So apparently this is kind of something to be expected. But it's done so well recently that, an 8% drop on the earnings day isn't something you should be so unhappy about, was the upshot of the conversation, or the one half of that conversation anyway. I'm a bit tired, to be honest, so I'm probably going to talk a load of rubbish here. I had a long day yesterday travelling. Booking Holdings done badly. Oh, well, Atlas Copco, bit of green there. Otis is a bit of green. McDonald's, all looking good. I was considering trimming a bit of McDonald's and putting it into CrowdStrike, considering how badly it's done recently. Yeah, this whole internet security thing seems like quite a thing to be in. I like the idea of being in it, and it would be quite nice if Fortinet and CrowdStrike would get a bit closer. So I'm not like picking a winner there. I'm just kind of letting them fight it out. Because I've the money I've put into CrowdStrike is lower than Fortinet, I'm guessing. I'd have to go check the records, to be honest. That might be wrong actually. Not sure. But anyway, there's all of the Fundsmith performance. And my dividends, yeah, quite a good week for dividends this week, £492. Can see them all on the screen. What was the big one? Henderson International, yeah, that's the one that should have come last week, but it came on Monday instead. It arrived on Monday. Pfizer was a big one. Yeah, anyway, you can see that for yourself. And yeah, so we'll go back to the transactions, and as you probably saw a minute ago, I've put £2,799 into the renewables infrastructure group, and as you can see there, I'm already 2.73% down. That's new cash in the portfolio. So what I did on whenever it was, Monday, this is a spreadsheet where I kind of every now and again I go in and tot up how much cash I've got. So I totted it all up, and I saw whenever it was, I think I've got the date here, 5th of March, yeah, so that was Monday, I think. Nope, 5th of March was Wednesday. When did I buy it? 5th of March, yeah, I've just mislabeled it, that was Wednesday. So I totted it all up. I mean, I totted it all up because I was fancying TRIG, Renewables Infrastructure Group. So this isn't a coincidence that I totted it all up here. I saw that I've got £20,624 in cash that's just sitting around. I looked ahead, and I know the LISA bonus and the SIP bonus is going to come in at 1,720. So I've got 1,720 plus 20,624. I also looked at the fact that at the moment I've got paid for. I normally book like 7 weeks in advance. 7 weeks to 11 weeks in advance, and at the moment I've got about 12 weeks in advance. So on that cycle I'm kind of ahead of the game. So in terms of cash flow I'm kind of ahead. So that's why I decided that I could put a bit extra, because as you can see here, that if in April or May I'll get 1,720, and this is kind of my balance looking forward. So this is all just man maths, trying to justify putting more into the market. So I figured I could put in 2,000, what was it, 2,800 or something? Yeah, 2,800-ish into the market, and then it would only be a matter of time by the time I get back up to my kind of 20 grand comfort blanket of cash that's outside of the portfolio. So yeah, I kind of man mathed it, and to justify adding 2,800 into the portfolio, and I put it into TRIG. And as usual with all of these renewables ones, I factored in a 50% drop in the dividend. So in my spreadsheet here, it's only in there at a yield on cost of 5.02%. Yeah, it was that 10% mark that kind of, the round number of 10% kind of seduced me. Although if we look at it now, it's already up to 10.33, so you're never going to get it perfect, are you? Just for the record, this is why we unitize our spreadsheet, so that extra money that's gone in there, it made up for drops in the market, but my unitization doesn't allow it to make up. See, it only went down by 2 grand, but that would have been down by another 2,800 between those two dates if it wasn't for me adding the 2,800. So that's gone from it's gone to about 393,171. So that's gone down by about 0.7%, but the unitization has gone down by about 1.4%. So that's why we unitize. Every now and again I like to just reiterate why I do this unitization. Plus I'm just sad and I've got too much time on my hands. I'll cover this thing first while it's on my mind. Got the news that the Chase card, so from the 7th of April it'll only give you 1% cash back on these items, which we can see there doesn't include Airbnb. So I'm guessing for Airbnb I'll probably have to use my Trading 212 card, which I have a virtual card, but that's okay for Airbnb obviously because it's online. For day-to-day spending, I'm thinking perhaps my Revolut card will now be the best, but I'm not sure. Trading 212 still could be better because it gets like an interbank rate. It then adds a 0.15% fee onto that, but I think possibly if I experiment with Revolut and Trading 212, it might be a toss-up. But also, quite often the phone doesn't work in quite a lot of places. And I ended up using, for that month I had the Trading 212 card giving me 1.5% in cash back. I ended up still having to use Chase because quite a few places it just didn't work. The machine just didn't accept the phone. They thought it accepted the phone, so they tried, but it just kept failing. And then my physical card was fine. And then I go to the next place and my phone would work fine in the next place. So yeah, that's one reason why the card might be good to pay £5 to get delivered. So I'm trying to weigh up whether it's worth paying the fiver to get that card delivered. The other reason the card would be good is my Revolut is limited to £200 a month to get cash out of machines, whereas I think, off the top of my head, the Trading 212 card is, I think, £400 a month, and that would probably allow me, even in countries where hardly anywhere takes cards, that would probably allow me to get enough out in one go and pay one ATM fee for the whole 3-month period if I stay in a country for 3 months. So for that, it would be useful to have the physical card, because obviously you can't use your phone to get cash out of a cash machine. So yeah, I'm just weighing up the options, and then I'm waiting to see what Martin Lewis says, because he's going to reassess the whole thing and decide what his recommendation is for spending abroad. So I'll wait to see what he suggests, or I might just get the Trading 212 card, or I might just make do with Revolut and using my phone for Trading 212 whenever I can. Yeah, so that's that anyway. Bit of a pain. Anyway, there we go. So what news do we have this week? All right, so they made a massive purchase a little while ago. I can't remember how long ago. So to make that, they took on a load of debt, and so what they're doing is they're selling a big bunch of their portfolio to get the debt back down. So this is them just announcing some of the sales they've made, and obviously when we see here that the yield at the sell price is 4.8%, and that debt they had was actually to purchase a portfolio that was yielding 5.9, but they've kind of done it backwards. Instead of selling and then buying, they've bought and then sold. So in a way, they've kind of replaced some properties that were yielding 4.5 with ones that are now yielding 5.9, or at least at cost, whenever it was. So obviously, overall, that increases the rent that's being received and the yield of the underlying portfolio. What it also says here is that actually 7 assets disposed in this announcement were actually sold to the joint venture they have themselves, which they own 20% of. It was sold to that joint venture. So actually, when it says they sold all of this, they only actually really sold 80% of it, because they still own 20% of it via their stake in the joint venture. What's next? Nothing big here, just that Fundsmith has purchased two more that they haven't told us about yet. And you remember last month they purchased one and haven't told us about yet, but they haven't updated us on it. So it could be that soon I'll have to add 3 positions to my Fundsmith-ish portfolio. Although I'm not quite sure whether they mean that this is actually a total of 2. Although to be fair, they said update for February, 2 new positions. So if one of these 2 was the one they talked about last month, that wouldn't be a new position, would it? So I think it probably is 3, but there's a slight chance that bad language has misled us there, and it could actually be 2 positions that have been added. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's a lot of activity, isn't it, for Fundsmith? I wonder if he's doing more of this because he's had a bad run for the past few years, and he's doing more buys and sells. I've taken now to not really bothering about the top 10 order. I've decided to let my portfolio veer a bit further away from his, mainly because I'm lazy, but also I just figure let the winners run and let it happen. It's not such a big deal if I'm a little bit different to his. I mean, his portfolio is different from his sustainable equity fund as well. And most of the holdings are the same. So he himself allows his 2 portfolios to veer away from each other. He just lets them happen mostly. He adds new positions and sells positions, but on the whole, he just lets the rankings, the percentage holdings and the order they come in, he lets that just happen. So I figured I might as well just do the same. And then Murray International had its financial report. I'm not going to go into it much, but I mean, it's just, again, I think a lot of this is currency issues as well, but their revenue has gone down for the year. Where is it? Yeah, we can see there revenue return per share 11.6 compared to 12.1p the year before. So yeah, it's a familiar story. We've seen it week after week with the annual reports and 6-month reports from all of the companies. And what 4.1 roughly percent. But hopefully, I mean, this is why it's good to have an investment trust, because the dividend I got paid went up even though that went down. So yeah, we'll have to see whether that is like a sign of consolidation, and then the dividends being paid will go up, and in the future, who knows? The thing is, it's down 4%, but because last year's had dividend cover of 5%, that 4% reduction has actually only led to a dividend cover of 98%. All right, I think that'll do us for the day, for the week. Sorry. Oh, we didn't have any issues, did we, with the internet? I think it's because I put the phone right next to the window, so it's got a bit of better reception. All right, cool. I'll see you next week then. Bye bye. Have fun.